Welcome to the Matchcast, the match fishing podcast with me, Jake Fowles, my co-host Rich Chapman,
Hello.
Today's star guest, England international Rob Swan.
Hello.
So, there's been 2 Maver match disqualifiers this week. The first one, Makins, you were there. How did that go?
That was shocking. It was on, right, phase 2 and 3, which obviously there's little pokey snake lakes and stuff. So it's one of those venues you go into, you're not expecting massive weights, kind of like talking to people before the draw and everything. 80, 90 pounds, you definitely have took before the start. And I think there's been qualifiers on there that kind of 50, 60 pounds has been enough to win. So you know you're not going there fishing for a massive weight. And we've drawn on
Thames,
yeah, check on the sheet. 7, peg 7 on Thames. And it's basically like little snake lake all the way around and peg missed one all the way around.
Really shallow lakes, aren't they, as well?
Yeah, they're kind of like 3 to 4 foot in the middle, and obviously shelve up as you hit the reeds and everything on the far bank. And they're just moody. I think because it's so shallow, all the carp have kind of pushed away to the far bank, and they just seem so scared of everything. Any like pole going over them, any movement, they're spooking. You can't really mug them. They're not interested in it. And you've just got fish going up and down that far bank, kind of shitting themselves. Like, going through the rigs, you're getting loads of foul hookers, weird liners. Some of them you're kind of hooking and then losing. And it's just a bit of a nightmare to fish, really. And I think everyone's had the same thing on our section.
And you've not mentioned that before the start you had a bit of a predicament as well.
Oh, yeah, because at the draw they've said everyone's got peg and miss one, which is fair enough, standard qualifier pegging. And I've got to my peg, and there's been the lad on peg 5, he's already got there. I've gone to my peg, started getting my kit out, and then Stuart Fotheringham's kind of rocked up on peg 6.
So in between, yeah?
Yeah, so we've been proper moaning about the peg. Like, we're not even in a good section, and there's now 3 people in a line. But it's one of those, so I've just kind of plumbed up left-hand margin, which was a bit of a pain in the arse to fish anyway, because you've got bushes wasn't even sure you were allowed to garden or anything, so I didn't want to start taking trees down or anything. And it's like, everyone's been moaning, saying it's a bit random pegging, few people taking the piss. And then it must have been about an hour before we started, Stuart said, we are on Avon. And it's like, no. So he set up thinking he must have been peg 6 on Avon, I think it was. So yeah, he's ended up having to rush all his kit round to one of the other lakes.
So an already hard venue, and you've got someone clattering gear down and then clattering it back as they were rushing to you.
Yeah, but at least I've gained a margin to fish, even though I've caught nothing down.
But it's been rock hard, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think Sam Collins ended up winning the section we was on. He was on peg 1 on the end. He's had £45, and I think in our section, I didn't even weigh in, but it was about £25 that I've had. Yeah. And then there's been someone's had about £9 to my right. Dan Bennett to my left, he's had 2 carp all day, and it's like, I don't know, it's just, I don't know what's wrong with it, whether it is just can't handle the pressure, whether it's one of those venues or because it's so shallow, but it just can't handle it effectively. Yeah. When you're getting decent anglers going on qualifiers and catching £6 in the middle of summer, there's something weird going on. But yeah, obviously, I think there was some better weights on the other side. So obviously, the fish were around on there. I think someone's had about 70 or £8 sort of thing.
Yeah, you're always going to get a few pegs that are going to produce more weights, aren't you?
But yeah, I think overall, it was Outer Avon that's fished the best, and Mark Rogers won it with £129 and 10 ounces, which is, for there, it's a decent weight, I think. You'd have definitely took £90 if someone offered it you at the start of the day. So he's fished a decent match on there, and peg 20 on Outer Avon.
So it is one of them venues where you sort of, because the weights are never going to be sort of monstrous, or they can be, but they're generally not
achievable.
Massive. Yeah, it's achievable, and you can draw a peg with a bit of room, a corner peg, something like that, and end up doing well. So
it's just going into it with that. It's almost like winter fishing again, where you're like, I'm going to tap a few pellets, be sensible, and wait. And but you can't really do anything else. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah, fair enough. So well done to Mark Roger. The second one, so this was actually yesterday. So we're actually at Lindholme Lakes today, joining Rob. He's midway through a festival. The hottest day of the year, hottest day ever.
Very sweaty.
Very, very sweaty, as you can probably see. So yesterday, the Glebe made a match this. So top three in that event. Andy Bailey was third, £200 6 ounce, peg 127, which is late 9.
Yes.
Second was Steve Barraclough, £219 from peg 121 on late 9. And Rob Harbour won the match, M-peg on late 9, peg 120, £281 14 ounce.
Yeah.
Unusual for all the weights to be. The top three there have come off one lake.
Yeah, that late 9 started to throw up a bit, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think there's only 6 anglers generally pegged on there, or 5 or 6 anglers pegged on there. It's only a small lake. It's only half the size as, say, 6 and 7. Sort of 8 and 9 are next to each other, and they're almost like one normal lake split into 2. But yeah, it's throwing up.
Are there smaller fish in there? Or?
Not generally. Sort of mixed it up a bit.
We've got,
we've got our housemate Matt Pilley making.
Just for the podcast, we've got Matthew Pilley
Mooney in it as he makes his way to the hut.
You're quite lucky it's behind the camera.
Yeah, they are lucky. That wasn't a very pretty sight.
No, definitely not.
That's put us off live and everything.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but anyway, Rob Harbour, he's done really well.
Done him.
But yeah, so fourth. Sam Collett's drawn his usual flyer, peg 1 on late 1.
I think that's about the 5th time or something this year he's been on it.
Yeah, historically, late 1's one that you'd run to. There's a lot of pegs on there. There's sort of the wide pegs 20, around that area, which have thrown up good weights in the past.
Yeah.
Sam Collett was 4th. But yeah, so late 9's dominated, and Rob Harbour's put in a brilliant performance and qualified.
I think it's quite nice that it's kind of going away from need to draw peg 1,
yeah,
and it throws a few
Opens
more
it
in the
up,
mix
doesn't it?
that you like.
Yeah, I think 6 and 7 have both won a couple of qualifiers.
It might be like 10
late
pegs
sixes
that you could win off rather than just like.
Well, I think at the Glebe it's sort of like you say. It's sort of swapping about a bit. It used to always be late 1 was the one, and it's not so much anymore.
Is it just the end pegs need to be on there?
No,
is it not?
No, it is. I say no. On the other lakes, it tends to be.
Yeah.
Late 1, not so much.
Right.
But the other lakes, it does tend to be M pegs. But
yeah, it varies, doesn't it? I think the
vary.
wider bits can be good on the right day, just because I feel a bit more comfortable pushing into there.
Definitely.
So,
moving on. So well done, Rob. Made a match this final. Golden Reel, Barston Lakes. So after Rich had said that peg 124
cursed it.
Doesn't win matches anymore, or hasn't been winning matches, it's won pretty much every match since.
Oh yeah, like, my nan could win off it at the moment. It's like every match it seems to be smashing it again, which it used to do, isn't it? So.
Yeah. So Sean Cook won the Maven match disqualifier on there last week. Mick Bull has won the Golden Reel qualifier there this week, £186 14 ounce.
What? Yeah, hasn't he?
He's not won it. He's taken it out, hasn't he? I think he's like tripled second place or something ridiculous. I've not got the weights down here, but I'm pretty sure. Yeah, it was like they announced it halfway through the match that he'd won. It was that good sort of thing. So.
Well, Barston's been fishing so well all year. It at some point it was going to have a bit of a come down. Whether it's because of this warm weather, they've gone off to spawn again round that 18th hole. And they're making the way, and they just popped in to visit Mick on the way. I don't know.
There, don't they?
Yeah, there are a lot of fish. Well, you've got all that room to your right where there's no pegs.
Yeah.
But yeah, well done, Mick Bull. So into the Golden Reel final, 2 years on the trot.
Yeah.
Feeder Masters, Patsell Park. So
Adam Firth, wasn't it? Who won it?
Yeah.
So it's like I think he's been feeder fishing for about 3 minutes or something ridiculous, hasn't he? It's kind of
he's a lad who's sort of similar to yourself, come from the carp side and moved on to the match side. I think he's always dabbled in a bit of match fishing, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's done. Because he works at Preston, Coram, all those. So he's always been around it, and obviously going out with anglers, filming and doing bits like that. You're gonna pick stuff up along the way.
You'd think.
But yeah, he's kind of seems to last year or so kind of got into his feeder fishing a bit more seriously, and he's winning quite a bit, to be fair to him, hasn't he?
He's been doing really well.
A couple of the big matches at Boston, I think he won 2 on the bounce or something, and various other bits and pieces. But
he's been going to this Patsell Park, which is an absolutely lovely venue. It's like in the gardens of a
nice in the
brilliant
hotel.
Stuff, yeah. So Adam was actually in the boats. He was in the boat zone or the boat
like
section.
A section full of boats.
And he's won the match with £50 2 ounce. So he's qualified. Brian Nesbitt's qualified as well with £28 in his zone, and Brett Clark has qualified with £27.12 in his zone. I think Adam, he's sort of what they've been doing is feeding a lot of bait, and at some point they get a visit from these bream that are generally somewhere between £4 and £7, and doing well.
Yeah, I think he was saying like up until that last hour, he was pretty much last in section.
Yeah.
He'd like got about 20, like I don't know how many fish. I'm just making weights up now. Aren't
Yeah.
I don't know. But
He hadn't caught a lot.
Yeah, and then he's had a few pulls in that last hour and gone from nowhere to win it, which I suppose is quite nice on venues like that. But as long as you've kind of primed,
you can never be out of it, can you?
Yeah, you're not sitting there thinking, "Oh, I've got no chance."
Same with a lot of places when you're fishing for carp. You know you can catch £100 in like an hour if it goes solid. So you're never out of the match, are you?
Yeah, I think that's the thing, isn't it? Where whatever species, if there's some bigger fish in there, there's always that
hope.
Yeah, it might not work half the time, but there's always that. I'll fill it in and see what happens.
See what happens,
Yeah, definitely. So well done to them three, all into the Feeder Masters final, shaping up to be a good one.
A few decent names in there, isn't there?
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to the World Club Championships over in Croatia. Drennan Barnsley Blacks went over there. Kavacek, which is a river, but they call it a canal. Definitely a river. The fishing, great big flat floats between 30 and 80 gram, like a dinner plate.
Was it Drennan doing the coverage where it was like putting pictures up, and it's like it's the sort of thing you'd kind of buy as a joke, isn't it?
Yeah, and you may have seen the video going around Lee Carey playing a carp.
Big carp. It's like 13 metres in the air, trying to land this. Like, I don't know how big was it. How big are they fishing?
I think they're about 3 kilo.
3-4 kilo, yeah. They just have to bring them upstream and then net them because it's so strong the current. It's impossible to net them upstream, isn't it? Bring them against the current.
You're trying to drag them up against the current, so you kind of were getting the fish to swim against the current upstream, and then as they came back down, just sort of scooping them, trying to make it easy for themselves. But they were literally 30 metres a pole, strong tackle.
When he netted it, he just looked knackered.
Just like doing that.
Gonna be red hot as well.
Even if you caught nothing and you were just running that float through all day, against that current, running it through, lifting it up, running it through.
Is that how deep it is then? It's like 10 metres deep or whatever.
I'm not sure exactly how deep. It was deep, and if you're playing fish on with 30 metres a pole in the air,
elastic as well.
Yeah, you wouldn't have thought there'll be. Yeah,
just bang the puller kit in your 30 metre section and just have it all the way through.
I'm sure they'd have loved to, but but. Yeah, in European countries they do. You see poles where they've got the not the 30 metre section, but it's a lot further down where the puller.
Oh, they do mad stuff. They catch like £100 catfish on the pole and do mental things.
But it looked like brilliant fishing, completely different than what we do. Barnsley, they've gone for the gold. They've ended up with silver, an absolutely fantastic result nonetheless. It's been so close. First day they were joint top with Bosnia and Herzegovina. Said that right. So that was on the first day, both with 19 points. France were third with 25, so they had a bit of a cushion over France. Second day, Bosnia and Herzegovina have ended up with 12 points, and Barnsley have had 13, so they've missed out by 1 point, which still, obviously it's a lot closer for Bosnia. They'll probably have more similar fishing. Barnsley have gone over there. They must have had the tactics right, and they've done really, really well to.
But you look at the results, and it's like, it's bad enough when it's a point, but then you look at the gulf of difference between second and third and the rest, everyone else.
Yeah.
Then it's obvious they've got it right.
Yeah.
And for it to be that close.
Yeah, because it's SKR Stara Zagora, which I believe are from Hungary. No. Bulgaria.
One of them.
I believe. One of them have ended up with 58 points over the 2 days. And when you compare that with 32 from Barnsley and 31 from the Bosnia-Herzegovina team, there's a massive, it's almost double the amount of points. So they've obviously done really, really well. So well done to Barnsley Black, silver in the World Cup.
Mega result, and unlucky.
I know they were quite disappointed with the silver, but it's like
they can't. You look at the calibre of angler, they're going to be disappointed just because when you read out the names, Matt Godfrey, Frankie Giannicelli, Alan Scawthorne, Lee Carey, James Dent, Oliver Scawthorne, obviously Glenn Lawrence, captain, and
there's a lot of young anglers though in that, or relatively young
Yeah,
anglers
it's
as well,
brilliant.
isn't there?
Well, you look at it, and a lot of them are, well, they're either linked or they are part of the England setup. So,
good sign, isn't it, for the future?
yeah, definitely. Right, moving on. Fishermania changes. So we did touch on this when we spoke to Andy last week, but it's sort of settled down and we know what the setup's going to be for next year. To put it frankly, the women's final has been binned off.
Got rid of it.
Completely got rid of it. Which
divided opinion, I think, is safe to say.
It did, but then when you look at or speak to top ladies anglers, they're pretty.
Yeah,
I think
a lot of them
with
think
it.
they can compete anyways. And
and they definitely
right,
can, can't they?
100%,
You look at Abby Kendall, who was in the final
Kaylee
this
Smith
year.
is fishing the festival.
Kaylee Smith, a lot of them. Helen Dagnall, obviously a few years ago, Wendy Locker qualified for the main event through the main qualifiers, got into it.
I think it's probably worth pointing out that anyone who doesn't particularly follow Fisho, the main event is not a men's only event.
Yeah, it's open to anyone.
There's a bit of, all the time, every year you get someone chirping up that, oh, why is it only £1,000 for the women's and 50 grand for the men's? It's like,
Because
that
£1,000 comes from the pot of money that is built up through the main qualifiers.
Yeah, so the main Fisho is open to anyone above the age of 16, yeah. And yeah, it's not men's only, or there is no men's only event in fishing, but there are women's only events.
Yeah, which is how they're going to pick. There's going to be, so I think fair play. They're looking to add some diversity to the Fishermania final. They want to grow it. It's a spectacle on Sky Sports. A lot of people watch it, not just in the UK. So by having some foreign anglers, so they're going to have, they've increased that from 2 to 4 foreign anglers. There's going to be a couple more qualifiers for them to get into it. Add in a bit of diversity. Whether people agree, we don't know how big they are as such.
I don't know how true it is, but I'm sure when they announce the first international qualifier, probably Nathan Watson, because it's the sort of thing he'd ask.
Yeah.
Can you book a ticket?
Can you get a ticket and travel over? Which is a fair enough question. And I'm pretty sure that it was Fisho who responded saying, no, you can't.
Right.
That you have to be a resident in that country, which
See,
seems a bit backwards because I'm sure they could travel over and fish a qualifier over here. So.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but that's definitely a debatable subject.
I might just try and buy a ticket and see what happens.
It'd be a nice trip over, and I'm sure there would be plenty of people that would do it.
Yeah.
The other one, the ladies. So the way that there's going to be at least one lady angler in the final, because obviously it could be a field full of lady anglers if they qualify through the main qualifiers.
Yeah.
However, there's going to be a guaranteed one lady angler that qualifies through the ladies national, which I think's fair enough. If they want it to be a diverse event with a lady in the final, which they want to guarantee that there's a lady in the final, the ladies national is the event to choose that from, because it's the biggest ladies event.
Yeah,
60 to 80
idea,
anglers fish it. Still, not everybody agrees with that, but in terms of relatability against an actual qualifier, numbers wise, it's as similar as you're going to get. So I think fair enough on that one.
It's hard enough to do well in the final anyways, isn't it? Like, just getting there is hard, but then winning it when you're there is even harder, isn't it?
Yeah.
'Cause you got so many like top anglers in there.
Exactly. So that's how the ladies going to get into the final. At first, there was a bit of a discussion whether there was going to be a junior event or not, which has now been confirmed, and it's actually been upped from 6 to 8.
I think
anglers.
Yes.
Is there more anglers?
Yeah,
I heard they'd up the money as well. They doubled the money as well.
Yeah, I think they have upped the
Was
money.
it?
Is it 2 or 3 grand now?
I think it might be $2,500 or something.
Yeah, I think
like
it could
that.
be 2.5.
Gone from a grand to 2 or 2.5.
Usually they just do like the top the section winners from the junior national get through into the Fishermania, but if they're going to get 8 in it now, then might be either more sections, or they used to do like top 6 in the match.
It used to be top 6.
So they might even do like top 8 or something. I don't know.
Yeah, but I thought Alex Rimmer put a bit of a question, like how did he get more exposure for the young anglers in the Fisho final? There was a couple of people saying stick them on a different lake. I disagree. I think that sticking them on a different lake, sort of putting them out the way, they're not going to get the coverage. Sticking them down that rubbish end of the lake, I don't think that's quite right.
Yeah, that was proper bad, wasn't it? Down that end this year.
It was rubbish. I think 11 kilo won the juniors.
Well, look at the women's one, and they've won it fishing for bream, which is like, it's a bold decision
and
in the final.
she fished absolutely brilliant, Sarah Taylor,
Yeah.
but in a carp lake, that
shows
lake,
you how bad it is up that end.
it's
at
just
times.
not very good up there. There's not many carp to be caught.
Yeah.
Strong decision like that.
Yeah, somebody should be able to
Bold.
catch enough carp to beat a silverfish weight.
Yeah.
But to be fair to Sarah Taylor, she's fished it spot on for the area of the lake that she was in, and she's done well.
Junior Fishmania was won by Billy Marlowe.
Yes.
Yeah. It was still not many carp though, was it? It was
11
like,
kilo, I think.
Yeah,
so
not a lot.
It's not been great,
It's like
but
2 or 3 carp.
I think he had like 5 carp. No,
Yeah.
maybe he had less, but his fish were quite big. Nathan Mills had like 5, but he had small fish.
right, yeah.
So,
So
it's like putting them out of the way almost.
Yeah.
It's not.
shoving them to the rubbish end of the lake. My idea: why not have them as the blockers, or somewhere in the middle of the event as the blockers, so that they're right in the mix. And
Yeah.
Sort of at the moment, they just got some anglers.
I think the blockers didn't really seem to be fishing properly, did they either? So it's like
Did they have blockers in the fish show?
They
Yeah.
did do,
Did
but
they?
like
But you kinda just
they'd be
fished
like
it.
down the edge, and you're thinking, well, they're not going to catch down the edge. They'd try short. They'd not really. Whereas if
Not fishing a proper match. Do they have anything to fish for?
I think they used to. I don't know whether they do.
Right.
They were. You'd see them. They'd chuck the pellet waggler, try long pole. We're just having the junior, right? The
Yeah.
juniors would be in the mix.
That'd be a good idea.
They'd
Have
be
like
right
2
in
on
the
each.
middle. And
Something
then
like
imagine you've just won your junior national. You're 16 years of
Yeah.
age, 15 years of age, and then you've got Will Rays on one side.
Yeah.
Like
Pretty
that's
well
going to
good,
push. You're going to be like, oh, heck, I fished a match next to Will Rays. You'd be like,
Yeah.
I'm going to try and beat Will Rays.
Yeah, it's like
it'd be
that's
amazing.
something to fish for.
Yeah, you've done there. Yeah, well, that would be the thing, wouldn't it? I beat Will Rays and just bow out. That's all I'm gonna do. So it would. That's my idea. I don't know how they're gonna do it. Whether they're gonna put them up one end of the lake again, I don't know. But having them as the blockers for me just seems like it makes sense.
Yeah,
I don't know how they currently pick blockers, but I just think it would actually give everyone on the lake more space, because you'd actually be utilising it by having a separate event with the juniors, but in the mix. But
Yeah, I don't know. Is it gonna? Does it work as a match for the juniors though?
yeah,
You're going to be so
Pretty sure
far
it's
spread
spread.
out. There's like,
But it's better than catching nothing, though, isn't it?
but then it's
think?
if you draw down that bad end and you've got
Yeah.
someone right down the other end of the gut.
Yeah, it's
But
50,
you're
6 and 2
doing it
threes,
like
isn't
that. You're either going to be an end peg or on the flyers behind the island, aren't you? But then you don't want the main event to not be on the flyers either in the middle, do you?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. But yeah, the junior event's going ahead.
Yeah.
It'll get picked through the junior national again, whether it's sections or top 8. We
Yeah,
don't know,
we
but
should
there's going to be
decide.
8 of them instead of 6. So moving on, you have printed out quite nicely in colour
Yeah. No expense
the
spared.
Yeah, no
rankings of the feeder fishing over the last 5 years. So
Wow.
this is basically the rankings of the World Championship feeder over the last 5 years. And looking at it, out of the top 5, England have 4.
Yeah.
Hey,
So Steve Ringer is ranked number 1.
obviously.
Felix Schoeman
There's a lot of long words today,
Yeah.
isn't there?
Struggling.
of Germany, obviously a very good angler, is 2nd. Mick Viles is 3rd. Phil Ringer 4th, and Adam Wakelin 5th. So of the top 5 in the
Strong
world,
field.
which just shows how strong the England feeder team is.
Yeah. Well, it's, just one of those, isn't it? It's probably obviously based on last results, but you'd have thought going into this year.
Yeah, it's
Gotta
not been going for that long, has it? The feeder.
No, because it
World
goes
Champ-
back to 2014.
Yeah,
doesn't
so
it?
that's over the last 5 years. So it shows consistency, which
Recent
is
craze, innit?
Yeah.
Feeder fishing's just gone wild.
It
hasn't
has, yeah. But a lot of them who've been in that team now have been in there for a while. Those lot, they've all fished each of those last 5 events, and their averages over that time have been brilliant.
But obviously, like Steve Ringer at number 1, it's like he'll admit as well that he has just dedicated all his time to feeder fishing.
Yeah.
Now it's almost like everything he's doing is based around that and being the best in the world.
Yeah.
Which I suppose, loads of anglers we spoke to already have said the same thing, that if you want to be the best, you have almost got to focus your attentions on, be it commercials, be it feeder
Yeah.
fishing, whatever.
Yeah,
Trying to spread yourself too thin, it kind of doesn't particularly work.
no, but I think it's fair enough. Jamie Harrison's gone down the same route where he'll quite happily tell you
Yeah.
he's a feeder angler. That's what he does. But these anglers, obviously they're brilliant. Steve's obviously done it in the past, fishing the pole, but he's focusing on the feeder side. And
yeah, I think it's one of the. You get a few people. Oh, why is he doing that? It's like almost taking it at the easy option, but. People like he's got nothing to prove, has he?
No, he's perfecting it, and well,
yeah,
just all that up.
He's all right, isn't he? In
Number
colour
one
and everything
in the world. They've none of them. They've all done fantastic. Top to say you're one of the top five in the world.
To actually
Gotta be a good
at anything, to say
anything.
I'm the best in the world at this. It's like, fuck you all. Say what you want.
Yeah. So well done to those lads, and I'm sure there's more in that feeder setup and in the main
Gold medals this year.
Yeah, hopefully.
Fingers
so
crossed.
we'll leave that section there.